Choose the right stock birds. The stock birds you choose will have a big impact on the quality of your racing pigeons. Look for birds that have a good breeding record and that are known for their speed, stamina, and homing ability. Provide a good breeding loft. The breeding loft should be clean, dry, and well ventilated. It should also have plenty of nesting boxes and perches. Feed your pigeons a good diet. Pigeons need a high-quality diet that is rich in protein and vitamins. A good diet will help to ensure that your pigeons are healthy and that they produce quality offspring. Mate your pigeons carefully. When mating your pigeons, it is important to choose pairs that are compatible and that have a good chance of producing quality offspring. Be patient. Breeding pigeons takes time and patience. Don't expect to see results overnight. With careful breeding and management, you can eventually build a successful pigeon racing program. Here are some additional tips. Keep records. It is important to keep records of your breeding program. This will help you to track the progress of your pigeons and to make informed decisions about your breeding program. Be prepared to cull. Not all of the pigeons you breed will be winners. Be prepared to cull the birds that are not performing well. Seek advice from experienced breeders. There are many experienced breeders who can offer advice and support. Don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. Have fun. Breeding pigeons is a rewarding hobby. Enjoy the process and the results. Intensive breeding is a method of breeding that uses inbreeding and line breeding to refine the genetic material of a population. The goal of intensive breeding is to produce specimens that are homozygous for desired traits, which can then be used to produce hybrids that are superior performers. Inbreeding is the mating of closely related individuals, such as siblings or parents and offspring. Line breeding is a form of inbreeding in which individuals are mated to their descendants. Both inbreeding and line breeding can be used to increase the homozygosity of a population, but inbreeding is more likely to produce deleterious genetic combinations. The process of intensive breeding begins with the selection of foundation pairs that have the desired traits. These pairs are then mated and their offspring are inbred. The process is repeated several times, with the goal of producing specimens that are homozygous for the desired traits. Once specimens that are homozygous for the desired traits have been produced, they can be used to produce hybrids with other unrelated lines. These hybrids are more likely to be superior performers than the offspring of two unrelated lines. Intensive breeding is a complex process that requires a deep understanding of genetics and breeding theory. It is important to note that intensive breeding can also produce deleterious genetic combinations, so it is important to carefully monitor the health and fitness of the breeding stock. I agree with you that there is no such thing as a perfect pigeon, and that intensive breeding is a complex process that requires a lot of patience and trial and error. I also agree that it is important to have good record keeping and a system to keep your matings and progress straight. Inbreeding can produce inferior pigeons, but it can also produce superior pigeons. The key is to be selective in the pigeons that you inbreed, and to carefully monitor the health and fitness of the breeding stock. Intensive breeding can be a very effective way to improve the genetic quality of a population, but it is important to be aware of the risks involved and to carefully monitor the health and fitness of the breeding stock. Racing performance. Racing performance is a good indicator of breeding potential, as it shows that the pigeons have the physical and mental qualities necessary for long-distance flights. However, it is important to remember that there are many other factors that can affect a pigeon's racing performance, such as its health, training, and the weather. Breeding performance. A good breeder will produce a high percentage of birds that are successful in racing and breeding. This means that they are able to select for the genetic traits that are most important for success in both areas. However, it is important to remember that there is no guarantee that any particular bird will be a good breeder, even if it is a good racer. Physical characteristics. There are many different physical characteristics that can affect a pigeon's breeding potential, such as its size, shape, and feather quality. However, it is important to remember that there is no single perfect pigeon, and that different breeders will prefer different physical characteristics. The most important thing is to choose pigeons that you believe will be successful in your breeding program. Here are some additional tips for selecting pigeons for breeding. Look for pigeons that are healthy and well-fed. Avoid pigeons that are too old or too young. Breeding performance is a key factor in determining the success of a pigeon racing program. By selecting birds that have a history of producing quality racing pigeons, breeders can increase the chances of producing champions. However, it is important to note that there is no guarantee that a bird that has produced winners in the past will continue to do so in the future. Genetics play a role in breeding performance, but so do environmental factors such as training and nutrition. Physical characteristics. There are a number of physical characteristics that are desirable in racing pigeons. These include wing length. Longer wings allow pigeons to fly faster and further. Throat size. A wide throat allows pigeons to breathe more easily during long flights. Muscle tone. Strong muscles allow pigeons to fly for long periods of time without tiring. Air sacs. Large air sacs help pigeons to absorb oxygen and expel carbon dioxide more efficiently. Back strength. A strong back allows pigeons to carry heavy loads during long flights. Tail shape. A forked tail helps pigeons to steer more effectively during flight. Selection for breeding. When selecting birds for breeding, it is important to consider both their physical characteristics and their breeding performance. By selecting birds that have a combination of desirable physical traits and a proven track record of producing winners, breeders can increase the chances of producing a champion flock. Here are some tips for selecting birds for breeding. Look for birds with the physical characteristics that you are looking for. Consider the breeding performance of the bird's parents. Mate birds from different lines to increase the genetic diversity of your flock. Cull birds that are not producing to your standards. Be patient and persistent. It takes time to build a successful pigeon racing program. Choose the right stock birds. When choosing stock birds for breeding, it is important to consider their physical characteristics, their breeding performance, and their temperament. You should choose birds that are healthy, strong, and have a good track record of producing winners. Provide the right environment. Pigeons need a clean, safe, and well-ventilated loft to breed successfully. The loft should be equipped with nesting boxes, feeding and watering stations, and a place for the pigeons to exercise. Feed your pigeons a nutritious diet. Pigeons need a diet that is high in protein and fat to support their breeding and racing activities. You should feed your pigeons a diet that is made up of a variety of grains, seeds, and vegetables. Provide your pigeons with plenty of water. Pigeons need access to plenty of fresh, clean water to drink. You should provide your pigeons with a water source that is both accessible and clean. Monitor the breeding process. It is important to monitor the breeding process to ensure that everything is going smoothly. You should check the nesting boxes regularly to make sure that the eggs are healthy and that the pigeons are caring for their young. Handle the young pigeons gently. The young pigeons are very fragile and need to be handled gently. You should avoid handling them too much and should never pick them up by the wings. Provide a good training program. Pigeons need to be trained in order to race successfully. A good training program will help to improve your pigeon's speed, stamina, and homing ability. Maintain a healthy flock. Pigeons are susceptible to a number of diseases. It is important to maintain a healthy flock by providing them with good food and housing, and by vaccinating them against diseases. Be prepared for setbacks. Pigeon racing can be a challenging hobby. There will be times when your pigeons get sick or injured, or when they don't perform as well as you would like. It is important to be prepared for setbacks and to not give up. Enjoy the journey. Pigeon racing is a rewarding hobby. Enjoy the process of breeding, training, and racing your pigeons.